Welcome, everybody. We are super thrilled to have Beth Duhon here. And we're just so excited to jump in and learn all the things. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. I will be collecting all of this information. And then we're going to have kind of a Q&A session at the end. So please put your questions in the chat. And if you're on YouTube, putting them in the comment section also works. I will compile both questions. In addition, I'll be sharing some links as we're talking, just so that you have the link to the handout and that you have any links to the Illinois PD if you are joining us from Illinois. Alrighty, I think that is everything. As always, this will be available as a recorded session. So if you have strange internet connection or anything, you can watch this again maybe tomorrow. Alrighty, I will let you go, Beth.
That sounds great. Thank you all so much for having me. It's great to be here, especially during Maycember, which I heard is just like December, only more dress-up days and no hot chocolate. So thank you for joining us tonight. I'm just super glad that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm the Happier Music Teacher, and I help music teachers be happier at home at school. And a big source of my happiness when I teach elementary music, and I literally told people I couldn't do it without it, is Musicplay Online. So we all have our own ways to do it. And I really think if people aren't friends with Musicplay, they just haven't gotten to know it well enough yet. And it's such a robust resource that they just might be a little bit overwhelmed. So hopefully what we can do today is just take some of that away from it. This is not, you're not being graded on a test. So you are welcome to open another tab and be all up in your Musicplay while I'm showing you, so you can add to your list, or you can work on games, or you can think about your lesson plans, or any of that you need right now. This is really to serve you. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You are going to be in my list today. Please, no judgment, because it is messy. So this is what my lists look like. And it is a big tool that I use for my organization. And I know my list has not been around forever. Relatively recent in the last few years. Does that sound right, Carrie Lynn? Yeah. Okay. So this is what my lists look like. And I'm just going to start out with showing you how to add something to your list, because you may not even be there yet. So if I am in the song list for a grade level, and let's say I'm in first grade, dooby-dooby-dooby-doo, and I want to add that to my list, I'm just going to go ahead and go to the song. Maybe I want to add the storybook. It's going to have where I add to my list. I click on the yellow, and I have a million lists. Okay, but let's just say that for this time, I would add it for my K through 4 for that week of April 10th. I go ahead and add it to my list. And then I'm a little OCD about this part, so I go ahead and go back and check. And that check mark lets me confirm that we're okay there, and that's added to my list. And then from there, I go ahead and close. So let me show you my naming convention. Okay. In our list, I share this with the Music 2 teacher on my campus, and we're not stealing. This is a district-provided resource. So we really use this as one of the ways that we communicate back and forth together. We put a lot of things, and as you'll see, mine is chock full, and it could probably use some good going through an organization this summer. But this year, at a new campus, I am the K through 5 music teacher at Oakland Elementary in Fort Bend ISD in Richmond, Texas. And so being on a brand new campus that has 850 people, I was in a little bit of a blind panic. And so I stashed everything in my list. And it's a big part of what I do and how I keep myself organized with my students. So for our naming convention, loosely, you can tell that Music 2 is always listed first for the Music 2 lessons. And then we generally do the grade level, and then we do the week of. So we're on a 6-day rotation, and that just, now, like I said, you know, school math, that can always change, and there's always an assembly or a field trip or who knows what. But in general, that helps us know what lessons we're teaching that cycle. When I do sub-plans, and this may not be best practice, I don't know, but I always have my Musicplay login and password there for the substitute to know that it would be in my list for the week. One of my subs commented just what easy way that was for her to cover for me. If your sub is comfortable at all, that really helps. But it's not the only way that you could do it. I also always let them know that the games are a strong possibility as we go through. So that's our naming convention. We go through, I say, it looks like I changed this up a little bit. So instead of Music 1, I just listed my grade level. I was doing something separate for 5th that week, and then the date. As that comes up, then I just add it in. So let's look at what I have. Looks like this week we were doing plainsies, clapsies. We did not even necessarily use the video. What I did instead is I went ahead and I just, and we talked it through. We had them predict what we were going to do with plainsies, clapsies. Then I demonstrated myself with a beanbag, right? I do, you do, we do. And so we went through, and then I had each row at one time just collaborate, figure out, work on it before we got together at a whole class at a low tempo, and then added it from there. And then moving on, and like you can see, it was just so nice to be able to add things as I lesson planned and put them right in. Okay. For my Music 2 long-term substitute, she is wonderful. She is a gift, and she really is literally an answer to prayer. But she is not certified, and she is not a trained musician, but she's lovely. So Musicplay has been also a lifeline for her. So some of the things that we ended up doing together for that, okay, in the learning modules, for her plans, especially to make the lesson planning piece easier for me. Okay, I would go in and I would choose for the week, and I would figure out what was good for me and what was not good for me for her when I imported the modules. So you can actually go ahead and import the whole lesson module into my list. So this kind of threw me for a loop. This is cool. If you haven't been on here lately, you might not have seen this type of display option, which is really great if you're visual. But if you go back and you display in this list mode. So if I am with her and I am looking for her first grade plans for this week, I would go ahead and look, and then I would copy it to my list. And when I copy it there, this is how it's going to appear. But that's not how it has to stay. And for us and our way of organization, that's not ideal. So we go ahead and we go right in and we edit it. And then we would edit it for the title. So for the title, using our naming convention, I would go ahead into here and I would title it Music 2, what do we say, first grade, and then the week of May 3rd through 11th, those are made up dates, don't hold me to it. We choose to not usually use any of these categories, but you certainly could, whatever works for you for your organization, and then we save it. And then as I go in there, I might say, you know, the hello song is great, but we have our own hello song. So we're going to go ahead and delete that one. Are you sure? Thank you, musicplayonline. Yes, I am. I'm sure. So, okay. And then I'll click out and then it will eliminate it. And then perhaps I want to open with the solfege piece. Easy. All I'm going to do then is just put it up in the order using that up arrow. And we'll echo Bobo. They love Bobo, right? Bobo has like his own following. It's ridiculous. Bobo has more Facebook friends than I do. It's fine. Whatever, Bobo. And so I would just pop that up into that order as we go in. So that just gives you a little bit, like I said, sometimes I think the learning modules are wonderful, but they're a tool for you. So feel free to go ahead and add things, delete things, change the order, whatever's working for your class. And like I said, sometimes when you have just a short meeting time, or you have maybe the rest is planned as centers, it really helps you as you go. So that's what it looks like for us when we add the learning modules. I want to show you a couple other ways that we use this at my school. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Okay. So scrolling on with my list. So lots of music 1 and music 2 by week. And like you said, I have not condensed anything. You can see I made a little bit of a stab at it with kindergarten and old modules. But like I said, that was things that I could systemize and put in folders, particularly as I'm looking ahead to next year. But our plan this year was really put everything in my list, and we scroll as we need to. Full transparency there. Let me show you how I use it for choir, because I think this is one of the places it really shines. In my district, we have an after school or before school ensemble. Mine is before school, and we are active. We super active. Pretty much every performance we had, and in my district, All my students perform at least once during the school year, and my singers and ringers is what I call them, because they play instruments and sing. They're everywhere all the time. So I needed a way to communicate with them and also make this easy for me, because choir meets at 7:30 a.m. And that time is, yeah, I know, I know. And I have a commute a little bit. And so that time is really precious and really limited. So since it's early, y'all, this is what we ended up doing. And I said choir fall, but it is really choir anytime, all the time is where we put it. So open up my choir fall. I went ahead and grabbed some things from the vocal warm-ups. These are not all the vocal warm-ups we do, but it's sure lovely to open my list and be able to say, you know what, I'm going to take roll, go ahead and get started. Or student, go ahead and take roll. Let's watch the video and then do it again while I play the piano on the part, or model. And as I was sharing with Carrie Lynn before, I had experienced this fall where I was on vocal rest for 2.5 weeks. It was not cute. I was at a new campus on vocal rest, and everything was fine. There was a node, it went away. I had vocal therapy. It actually turned into a good experience. And made me much more wise about my usage. But at the time, it was extremely not okay. So during that, having things that I could use, maybe more video teaching than I would normally do, was wonderful. So we would open up with some of the warm-ups. And then one of our favorite things that we sang this year was that partner song of Snowflakes with Jingle Bells. So I was able to have that. So when we were prepping for our holiday concerts, we just were able to go right into here and grab that. If I wanted to, and I did, then we went ahead and put it into the learning management system. And our school at Schoology, you might have Canvas or any of the other ones, but that made that super easy for them to access. We also put, if you all have not discovered this one, this is such a gem. This Deck the Halls Holiday Bossa Nova is fabulous because it feels two-partish. It's not very two-partish, but it feels like it. The kids basically know the song. They say bright apparel. Thank you very much. That makes it nice for everybody and easy. And then, like I said, easy to learn, quick to put together, but a real crowd pleaser with that. So if you have not found that one, Deck the Halls. And then we went to a festival this spring. And so we were singing a Ram Sam Sam a cappella. I didn't need any accompaniment or anything, but I did want an easy way to project the lyrics for them on the board. And so this is what I turned to when I added it to the list. Okay. I'm bouncing around a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit random. I hope this is working for y'all. Wave of Kindness has been a really special song this year. I should have brought a choir shirt so you could see. In fact, I might grab it if I get a minute. So speaking of our wonderful sub, Miss Ann, in one of the modules, Wave of Kindness was included in the songs. And she really liked it. Kids liked it. She told me about it. And our school theme this year was Sprinkle Kindness Like Confetti. So cue the whole school song. This is a song, and I would highly recommend this to everybody. Now, I'll be honest, you get a lot of Wave of Kindness throughout your year if you are teaching 30 different sections and everyone's learning Wave of Kindness and you're using it almost every program. But I think it's lovely to have a song that everybody knows. And I think it's really lovely to have a song that goes with the school theme. And it has come endlessly in handy so many times. We're doing a kindergarten Mother's Day program on Friday. And I had 2 songs and they're wonderful, but a little short. Music teacher before me had 3. And so even the kindergarten teacher knew the song and referenced it. She's like, how about you have them add in Wave of Kindness? Yes, ma'am. Don't mind if I do. We are going to add in Wave of Kindness. Great idea. Like I said, it's a wonderful, that same thing happened with our Black History Month program. I had an underscore during a little bit of a transition time, and my admin was like, it's a little flat there. And that was during the dress rehearsal. So what can we do between that and the performance to spice it up a little bit? Once again, they suggested Wave of Kindness, a song that everybody knows. It has motions to it. It's very singable. It's very fun. And then my choir took it to contest as well. So I would definitely recommend. Now, can we fit everything? No. And sometimes we don't have to stretch that hard. Any song could be the school song and the theme. But for Sprinkling Kindness Like Confetti and Wave of Kindness, absolutely, let's do it. Along those same lines, inside my modules, I just made a module. Here we go. I just made a list for Wave of Kindness and Armed Forces. That way I knew it would always be there. So anytime I'm in the class and I need to quickly grab Wave of Kindness, because the program for Musicplay is so robust, it sometimes take a minute to find a resource. That's okay. Like I said, it just speaks to how robust it is that it takes a minute to find something because it's so chock full and it's such a good value. So I really like the idea of having just a place on your list to grab it quickly like that. Okay. And then the other one, this is actually a link to a YouTube video, and this is from my friend Monica Jordan. So for Veterans Day in the United States, big deal. It's a big deal for me. I have veterans in my family. My dad is a veteran and his brothers were veterans. So we had 3 of the 5 armed forces represented. So we assign one to a different grade level for each year. So for example, kindergarten would be Army, first grade is Navy, so on and so forth, in the order that this song appears. That checks a lot of boxes because that way, by the time they are 5th grade, if they will have been with me for all the way through in their year with me, they will know all the armed forces songs without much effort. And then when we go to perform them at the concert, every grade level gets a little bit of a feature with their particular song. And then 5th grade sings along on all of them and has them together. And my choir was able to add some bucket drumming just to enhance it. But because this is another one of those songs that's practically a song that everybody knows, okay, that's how we kind of put it there with it. Okay. Along those same lines, let me go ahead and show you a little bit with the learning management system, just how I would do that and how I have done that. And I don't think I'm probably going to open up my Schoology. Okay. So under your dashboard, this is a little known gem if you haven't used it. If you go ahead and you go to student code, okay, that doesn't look like much, but wait. When you go to print your handout, okay, if you save it as a PDF, you can go ahead and then save it and put it in your learning management system for everybody to use. And so in my learning management system, right, it has the music grade, whatever course, music grade K, music grade 1. And so it's a lot easier for them to know this is where we go. So we include the link to Musicplay. This is how you log in. And I explicitly walk them through this step by step. And literally just did it the other day. I sent my 5th graders home with the recorders. Yes, I sent the 5th graders home with the recorders. Yep, you heard. No more recorders anymore. Oh, no, actually, we had a great time playing recorder and we used Musicplay for it. But when I sent them home with it, we didn't get as much airtime on that as I would like to. I started later than I would like to. It was testing because I was new on the campus. I think we were a little bit later in the game with everybody getting the resource. Our school dishwasher was broken like for a long time. So washing my loaners, it was kind of a perfect storm. And so I felt a little bit bad that they didn't get as much time with me on recorder as we normally would have. And for that reason, I wanted to go ahead and give them the resource. So I explicitly walked them through it. I logged out as an educator with the kids. I logged in as a student. We had the student access code. This is not fancy or cute. I just have it written on every surface in my room. So it's tapped on the back, taped in the back on my cabinets. You know, I about said it. I don't care if y'all know my access code. Who cares? But I about said it. I have it, you know, on my marker board. I have it where I have my learning intentions. I guess if the superintendent of schools walks through, he's going to know that we use Musicplay a lot. So it's all there. But the kids are not born knowing how to do this. So it really is important to take a minute to walk them through how to do the student code and everything, and also share it in the learning management system. After I've done that, then I went ahead and explicitly took them through the recorder resources so they would know what to do when they're on their own at home. So I said, hey, you know, so click on the instruments, choose recorder, and then I could pull up and say, look, remember when we played Just Be? If you want to learn how to do that at home, here's where you would access that. So they know exactly what to do and how to get there at home. And then from there, that was also a way for me to introduce them to other things we didn't get to. So I said, hey, look, if you get awesome at recorder and you want to go to the next level, then let's go ahead and add some blues or some jazz. but just start here and go from where you go. And that'd be a great pre-band activity. So like I said, I always do that. When I'm, like I said, my choir is fourth and fifth. And so in their learning management system, I have a folder that just simply says ringers and singers. That's what we call them. And then I share the student code in there again. Can't share it too many times, right? Got to make it very convenient. And then I share the choir folder. And once they have access to that, then they can do any of it. Now, I am a Musicplay super fan, but even Musicplay super fans end up using a little bit of other resources sometimes too. So let me show you what that might look like for me. Okay. We will go on, scroll, scroll, scroll. You're like my students. You have to sit here and wait while I scroll. You're welcome. Okay. This is the easiest stash that ever was stashed. So this is what it looks like. The first grade program, excuse me, I take a sip of water, was in March, and it was multicultural night. So welcome, welcome. Such a great song for that. We actually sang it a cappella, and we had a student play the xylophone part, played the G's twice, and then we sang and did motions that along with it. But it's here. So when we're practicing in the classroom, like I said, even especially for the music sub who is not trained, but for me too, especially if I'm tired vocally, I can just grab that. And in the weeks up to the program, you're getting more program and less other stuff. So it sure is nice to just be able to pull that up and know that all your program resources are in one spot. And then from there, let's make friends wherever we go. Such a great song for Multicultural Night. Everybody complimented us on what that song was like. So we just stashed it here. I think that this one is just the one without the accompaniment. But then if you dig back and you get a little bit further into the JJ and me juniors, you will find the track with just the accompaniment. And for me, I was just wanting it all in the same place. For my own purposes, right, then I'm going to go ahead and download those background tracks into my own folder. My desktop, you should see my desktop. If you've seen my list, you should really see my desktop. So parts of me, it's weird. I'm just this odd mix of like, there are parts of me that are pretty organized. Like you would meet me and talk to me and think organized. And then you look at things like this and you're like, oh, sis, I'm not sure that's too organized. So I kind of have a split personality that way with bits and pieces of it. Like I said, it has to work for you and yours doesn't have to look like mine. But I hope that will at least, even if it's like you're feeling judgy about what mine looks like, it might give you hope about using this. Or on your own, if you're, like I said, if you're really type A, good for you. I'm kind of a type B plus. Okay. Not quite a type B, definitely not an A. I'm either an A minus or a B plus. I think probably a B plus. Okay. So we did a cute version of Che Che Kool-Aid. I like the accompaniment track that I found online. So I went ahead and add that again. And you'll never guess what we sang for a closer. Yes, you will. We sang Wave of Kindness. So what that did is it just allowed me, oh, what's better than having it in there one time? And then probably some of these are like the accompaniment tracks and things. And I would just, and then the book. So I thought, you know what? I'm not sure if we need to, if we have to stretch, depending on the time requirements. Remember, this is my first year on the campus. So trying to figure out the culture of how long they want their programs, what's appropriate, I had this on call just in case. And then also as we're doing it, apparently I was really scared of not being able to have let's make friends wherever we go in my list. So you could add duplicates if I wanted to, and I'm too scared right now, then you are always welcome to just go ahead and delete it. But Musicplay is going to ask you if you're sure. Okay. If you just wanted to copy the link to share with a classroom teacher and you're like, would you mind just singing this with your class if you have a couple minutes at the end of the day, or if it's indoor recess, you could go ahead and copy that link as well. So it really is super user-friendly as we go along. All right. I'm going to show you, I don't know what your campuses are like. My campus has PLC, professional learning communities, at the end of the day. And so the way that works on our particular campus is we will, and I'm used to calling it specials. Our campus calls it outclass. And so we will see our students for outclass, and then on a rotation, we will see that same class at the end of the day for PLC. So after you have seen them and done a robust lesson for 45 minutes during your out class, you're not usually at the end of the day when they come in with their backpacks and they come in, like the rest of us at the end of the day, acting like it's end of the day. I'm not crazy. Like I'm probably not going to be doing some direct instruction there, right? But I do still want them to have some things of value. So what I have chosen to do with that is I went ahead and I made my list for PLC time. And I grouped it together because I figured that's okay. It's not a big deal. I did not use these as much as I thought, but I liked the security blanket of having them there. A lot of times it might have been that we were doing extra practice for a program, or sometimes I would be pulling my ensemble or things, but I like knowing that they were still doing music learning, but it was a little bit less intense on me. And one of the places that shines with my list is it doesn't have to be necessarily a Musicplay resource. So if you have, I love the idea that y'all are so generous and help us to keep organized, because I am that person that will have, if you saw me right now, all the tabs are lined up across my screen while I'm sharing, right? And the kids will walk in, they'll be like, oh, that's a lot of tabs. And used to be maybe in the past, it would be a lot of tabs of Musicplay. With my list, I don't have to do that, and it's easier to access like that. So let's see what's in my KN1 PLC. Oh, okay. Looks like Pete the Cat, 1 hour. So that would be if it's a real rough PLC day. And then, also the sing-along. So for our campus holiday sing-along, I used the one in Musicplay, and it worked out wonderfully. And so it was so nice during PLC time, especially like in the month of December, teach my normal lesson during out class, whenever the normal time would meet. The super special one, y'all appreciate this, is just the way it works. It's no one's fault, is that first grade PLC is right next to PLC out class. So at the end of the day, so not only do you have your first graders at the end of the day, which always is a good time for 45 minutes, but then that backs right into PLC, and then you help them dismiss. So they come down with their little backpacks, and you're going to see them literally, and you know how teacher time works, literally 1:55 to 3:15 or 3:20, depending on what time you let them out in the hall. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a lot of first grade time and a lot of love. So you better have, I mean, I think of it, it's almost like quarters, like a football game, right? We got the quarter where we have the snack. We've got the quarter where we're doing the sing along. We're doing our program songs. We're doing the lesson. We're turning and talking. We are playing the Musicplay games, because if you don't, you are sunk and you are already seriously outnumbered. So this was a way to take a link to our sing along and just make it easy to have it in one place for you. Another thing I want to add, I think I'll probably transition into games here in a minute, unless I'm forgetting things. Oh, okay. Two more things just on my list. And like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and like hopefully you are looking at this as a little bit of inspiration for you. And if you are so done with May, I got you. Some of you might be around here for longer, but maybe this is something that might inspire you as you're doing your summer planning. Or this might be something that as you're looking into the fall, you are wondering about what you might add to here, how to organize it. You have, a lot of times people, I feel, will spend a lot of time and energy on the Google Slides, and it's a lot. And for me, I feel like I get the convenience of Google Slides and having it in one place without making cute graphics, without having to do any of that. I just get what I want, which is pulling up what I want when I need it. Because y'all know, I call it dead air, especially with a challenging class. That wait time while you have your back turned to find that resource that you knew was right there, but is not right there, is killer. And like I said, it's so nice to be able to know at the click of a button, I know where my things are, they're up quickly, and that I don't have that downtime. I can transition quickly, because downtime is not okay. So the more that I can have that all together. There is no rule about how you use this. I'm gonna take another sip, y'all. This time it's coffee, but it's decaf. Do you think my mug is big enough? I'm asking for a friend. It's okay. It is totally legit to add something that is already in another section of Musicplay into your list. just to make it more convenient for you. It really is meant to work for you. In that case, it's birthdays for me. Birthdays are in units. That's great. But I feel like a lot of times I'm kind of fishing. I'm finding happy birthday. So I'm scrolling down and then I'm having to do that. So one of the things that I celebrate, and we totally could, right? We could go straight through there without an issue. No big deal. It is a little easier for me. Oh, I should check out there's even more things added there. I should check this out too. But what I have added to my list is I have one just called Happy Birthday. And so whenever I see a kid, and that you will know, right? They have the birthday shirt, they have the tiara, or they have the ribbon, or they cannot wait. They're like jump up and down the line, miss, it's my birthday. Really? Are you sure? They will tell you if it's their birthday. One of the things I do, and I didn't always used to do it this way. Not everybody enjoys having people sing to them on their birthday. So I will always, I mean, I'm all about it. Yes, sing to me all day. Incidentally, my husband turned 50 and we were in the Bahamas on a work trip. He could not get enough happy birthdays on that trip. And so it was a convention, it was a business trip. And like I said, all the people in the convention sang happy birthday to him. And then as they saw him, they'd tell him happy birthday. And he has someone on his team who's maybe a little bit on the grumpier side. He's like, how many birthdays is this guy going to have? I'm like, well, it is a milestone birthday and he's well liked and handsome in my opinion. And so maybe we're okay. Anyway, so you can see I have it here under happy birthday. And this is where I put my holiday sing along. So I just went ahead and I just added everything in that unit, happy birthday, or most of it, to my list. So I'll call the student to the board and say, okay, which one do you want? Do you want regular happy birthday? How about happy birthday in the style of Mozart, the greatest composer ever? Okay, no one's chosen happy birthday in the style of Mozart, but it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Maybe on my birthday. Usually my birthday is over spring break, so I luck out that way. I just feel like my birthday is a holiday. It's over spring break as it should be. It's also March 17th, so it actually is a legit holiday. So that's kind of fun too. Do you want your birthday in the style of Johann Strauss II, the Waltz King? Do you want music box? That one's pretty. See how this goes? And they're standing up there and they're looking. Ooh, Hawaiian style. He looks like Moana. You want to do Hawaiian style? Jazzy. Pop, like you hear on the radio. Would you want to do a pop style today? Or do you want to rock? And surprisingly, they will think about it. They are pretty nuanced and they're pretty balanced about it. And it's a highlight of my class. But I have a friend who one-ups me, and I think it's the best one-up, so I'm going to share it. So Laura Brown in my district, and I know two Laura Browns, which is kind of interesting. I have a Laura Brown who I dearly love from my former district, and now I have a new Laura Brown in this district. So people who teach music named Laura Brown. So new Laura Brown does not do this anymore, but she used to. So she would get a list from the executive assistant in her office of all the kids' birthdays. And instead of doing it like I would do, like, hey, I see you, you got your birthday crown on, let's do happy birthday. She would do it monthly, but she would do it up big. So all the May birthdays or whatever it might be would come up. And she would have them hit a gong for the number of years old they were. So imagine your kid on your birthday getting to hit the gong 7 times in music. I mean, hello. And then everybody would play Cut the Cake. Is that the best birthday ever? I'm so jealous I didn't think of it. Like I said, this is what I currently do. Like I said, if I were probably, like I said, a little more type A, like my Laura Brown, I might consider doing that. But like I said, it is a fun way to enjoy the music room. And some of my lessons are less singing heavy than others. But I always want to make sure that they're having an opportunity. I do not want them to hit the door on a day and think they did not sing in music class. So even if it's just a low-hanging fruit, that they know it and they like it and that they will honor the child with it and they'll look forward to it. I want that to be a memory from music class that's really warm for them. And it could not be easier, right? What am I doing? Pulling up the list and asking the kid, and then we sing along. Easy and fun. Okay. Let me go one more thing. And every state is different. Like I said, every province is different. Okay. Moshe is not a made-up word. That is the last name of one of our 5th grade teachers. So the SLO, that we all love acronyms in education, right? Yeah. Okay. So the SLO in Texas is the student learning objective. And soon I think it will be connected on some level. Actually, you know what? So the teacher incentive allotment, which is money, at some point there will be a pre-test and a post-test on a music test that's provided, and that will be tied to our compensation. This is not, but it's a big deal. So what you do is you choose, if I were a classroom teacher, it would just be my class, right, on one thing. But for music, I choose one homeroom. And note to future Beth, I chose this homeroom because they're dolls. I liked them a lot. Just a really kind, nice class that I enjoyed I had today. But fifth grade is a testing class, and fifth grade is busy. And just the way that this rotation fell, a couple times during the end when I was supposed to be doing my post test, I wasn't seeing them. Other events came up. So in the future, I would probably choose a class that was maybe, like a non-testing level. For us, that would be like second grade. Maybe they're not babies, but they're not as old and having to do the state tests and things. But this was great to show the documentation to my admin, because when I went to her office for the post conference about my student learning objective, it was super easy to be able to say, instead of like scratch my brain, trying to figure out where it was, what I did. I'm like, oh yeah, it was tempo. We were trying to figure out all the tempo terms in the teaks, and this is what we used. So I stashed anything. Now there is a tempo unit, but for me, it was easy to stash all that in here. So how do we open with it? We opened with that short video about tempo, fast and slow. They love the animal posters, so I put that in there as well. And that's what I put in there. And then other places, there is just, it's a worksheet. And I just used it from y'all. I just use it for a pre-test and a post-test. And like I said, I'm like, it's great. You don't have to throw the test. We're not doing that. But if you don't know any of these terms, which let's face it, these tempo terms are tricky. They are long words. They are in a foreign language. I think it is very cool that Coconut Chaos uses the tempo terms with it too, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But tempo is challenging. So I knew for a goal that we had nowhere to go but up, because tempo terms are really challenging. Okay. They had a wonderful music teacher in the past. It's not that, it's just a lot. And the way it's done in the TEKS, every year they kind of add them on until the end, it's cumulative. And so I knew that fifth grade was one that I wanted to check out with that. So whether it is just your basic lesson planning, think outside the box a little bit from that. Like I said, it can be a communication tool with your other music teachers on campus, or even in your district, frankly, if you were trying to share the songs with them by copying the link or sharing your list, that's very doable, especially if your district has Musicplay and that's provided. Like I said, choir for me was a thing, programs, holiday sing-along, and the barrier to entry to this is so low that, like I said, if my substitute was going to take over my class for the day, or we were combining, which when I was on vocal rest for several weeks was a thing, because we must have looked like a comedy show, y'all. We knew it. We looked like Saturday Night Live up there, because I'd be typing things like, I'd be typing things in, and we'd kind of be doing this not funny game of charades while she guessed what I was trying to say. And but it gave her the ability to pull things up and for me to know. I could still do moves, I could still direct, but it really was a lifesaver for me as we we're doing that. Okay, if you have any more questions about my list or how I use my list, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and transition to games. Carrie Lynn, I will let you choose, or I can even do things that are not games. I've got a couple tools we can go over, or I can do some games. What would you prefer? I know that on a handout, I'm not going to get to everything I'd like to.
Yeah, I think games at this time of year.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Let me pull that up. Okay. So, hope y'all can see this because I got my background blurred because I'm in my messy office. I highly recommend on your iPad, can you see me? Okay, it's probably a little blurred. Add Musicplay to your home screen on the iPads for the students. I am really blessed, and I know that not everybody has a smart board at their school. Not everybody has a set of iPads. I'm really fortunate that we were almost one-to-one on that when we wanted to be for iPads. Excellent. So one of the ways that I did that is I just went ahead and added the Musicplay icon to the home screen. We did not go straight to games, but then when you're having, and I did not do it with Kindred One, I'm not that brave. Good for you that you are. Okay, I did 2nd through 5th. But on a day where maybe we had to be quieter for testing, or on a day where we had 10 minutes at the end of the lesson, or I was trying to reinforce a concept, it was sure easy for them to tap that icon. And then, now some of them, like I said, even that direction, you're like, wow, how did you get here? So you really, why are you on Internet Explorer? Tap the icon. But anyway, we got there. It's also best practice to really circulate. You all know kids and technology, right? So circulate a lot. And the way I tell them this is if you choose to go somewhere besides Musicplay, you're choosing not to use their iPad the rest of you can fill in the time interval there. Rest of the day, week, semester, year, the rest of your life. You cannot use the iPad the rest of your life if you go somewhere besides. No. So anyway, that was a way that we could do it. We chose to do it paired. Super easy with the game icon there to have them get to it. The ones that I wanted to show you a little bit is how we do some full class participation on ones that you wouldn't normally have full class, and you can almost make it a part of your lesson. So that's where I was enjoying it. So for example, I should put these on my list, shouldn't I? Okay. Which one are we going to do? Match the melody. Okay. This may not strike you as the game of all games. It is the best game. But there are ways to do it so you stretch it, because since you are a spiral curriculum, your kids are going to be in Musicplay for a while, right? So you do not want to burn through all the games immediately and then have them burn out. Use them for sure, but don't burn through them. And I'm going to show you how we slow that roll a little bit so it goes a little bit longer. Okay. And Carrie Lynn, if you just let me know around when you want me to wrap up and open up for questions, I'm good. You just tell me.
Sounds good.
All right. So we're in Match the Melody. And let's say we're doing La So Mi. Loading. Okay, and you would see, I think I had it in one of my other lists. All right. So say that we're doing level 2A. There is a way you do it where you're going to burn through this fast. Okay. If you are just playing the keyboard part, and you're like, okay. And then they shout out, 1, 2, 1, 2. You burn through the game. Your classroom is in chaos. And then you get mad and you stop the game, is how that ends up going. Okay. So I'm going to show you the way that I do it. And I milk this. And like I said, you also need to read the room. You know, if you're straight up losing them, then you can up the pace. But I almost use it that the game is part of my lesson. And it's also part of my informal assessment. And you will see a lot based on this whole class participation thing. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that they know which one is a line and a space. And I do not know where I picked this up, but I steal it and I think it's a ton of fun. Okay, so I'm like, okay, hey guys, looks like the first note in both examples is the same. Do you think this note is a space note or a line note? And everyone needs to vote. Okay, so you got kids going. So you need, and like I said, it's important because you'd be surprised. Some of them don't know if it's a space note or a line note. And as we're building and we're doing cumulative things, you really want them to know if it's a space note or a line note. Okay. So that's the first thing. So we vote with the gesture. And if they're not clear on that, then we go from there. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Everybody good? And then you want them to figure it. So then I just have them listen. Okay, lips, ears, lap, just listen. And you can be kind of judicious with your use of keyboard or voice. Do you want them to have the extra help of having the solfege syllables in there, or do you want them just to hear it? So let's say for this one that we use the voice. Now, I always tell them, this voice is fancier than my voice. She's had more training, so that they're not like, oh, it sounds like opera. No, it's a gorgeous voice. It's a trained voice, and I wish I sounded like her. So we choose voice.
Sol, mi, sol, la.
Now, some of them are already trying to vote, but we're not doing that. Okay. Then the next go round, because I don't know about you, y'all are probably excellent at your sight singing in college. You did not get tears on your final exam of it, but it was not a strength for me. It was scary. And I felt like I was in with all these people from Chicago suburbs who seemed I was from a farm in central Illinois. Shout out to all my people getting Illinois PD. I did not take AP music theory in high school, on and on. I had a lot of insecurity around it. And the sight singing was scary for me. So I really want to give the students a way to have a method, and also to justify that it's okay if this is not their natural bent and not easy. Okay. And also just a growth mindset. So I will say, you know how on the 4th of July, you might draw your name in the air with a sparkler? Okay, get your sparkler finger ready, and we're going to listen again, and you're going to draw it in the air. So let's listen again.
Sol, mi, sol, la.
And if it feels like they're not, now you could say, if you're not comfortable with sparkler, I know things that are on fire, and you're talking about the kids. But if you wanted to say your special magic marker finger, however you want to jazz it up, that we are drawing in the air what we hear. Okay. So think about which one matches what you did. Okay. And then we will go ahead and sing it on solfege. Now, I have preloaded this because we are also singing songs before this lesson with that pitch set, right? So we're singing bounce high, bounce low, or something like that. Lucy Lockett, we are doing one of those type of songs. So they should already have that in their ear, already be familiar before they go all that. And so I will tell them that, she'll be so like a wall, me like the floor, la like a claw, and we will listen to her again, and then we will echo, or we will sing with her. Okay. And I will not do that to y'all right now. And then we vote with a silent 1 or a silent 2. And you will see who really knows. And even if they don't really know, they still had a chance to listen several times. They had a chance to draw a couple times. They had a chance to learn whether it was a space or a line, all of that type of thing. So I feel like you really get a little, and we're just on one of these, right? You get a little bit more bang for your buck. And then you get a little bit more of an informal assessment, because guaranteed one of them will have the wrong answer. Right. And so, I wasn't even paying careful attention to the example, but I know y'all were, because you had heard it like 10 times. But, so whatever one they vote, they're like, yes. And I'm thinking, excuse me, you're wrong. But okay, that's cool. Yes, go team. But it really just lets you know what's going on with all that. And it helps you milk that resource. And it helps you make one that may not seem like it is going to be just, no one's getting dunked in a dunk tank there. And it's not recorder baseball. So it may not be the flashiest game on the site, but there's so much learning there and so much that you can do with it. If y'all have time, I can go on a little bit more. Okay. Let's go to Poison Melody, which is not a game per se. But let's find a little bit with Poison Melody or Poison Rhythm. So my students were familiar with this from last year. Awesome. Go team. I really appreciate the former music teacher for doing that. So it's not under games, but let's do rhythm since we did some melody. Okay. And so if you're going to go ahead, let's see, we're going to do just some real simple Poison Melody. Okay. I scroll down, you can choose oops, or you can do the other one. These might all be oops, or the scary or the oops. Either way is fine. Okay. So when it comes up, we do this a little bit differently. First off, I'm really a stickler on how we read the rhythms. Okay. Because I think it matters. And like I said, former band nerd here. I don't like the aggressive chi-chi-ta, chi-chi-ta, where it's let's just take a beat, you know. So I play a game before with them, a pregame to the game. What's Miss Duhon doing wrong? Is she looking? Is she saying? Is she two-finger tapping? So I will model what I expect, that I'm looking, saying, and two-finger tapping. And then I will exaggerate it a lot. What am I not doing? So I'll look at the rhythm on the board. I'll be like, what's Miss Duhon doing wrong? She's not saying. You're not saying. You're not saying. And or I'll be like, what's Miss Duhon doing wrong? Ta, 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 ta. You're not tapping. You didn't tap. You know, or if I do a clap instead of a two-finger tap, or I'll be like, what's Miss Duhon doing wrong? Ta, 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 ta. I really want to get them in the idea that reading the rhythm is fun, but there is a right way to do it. And then immediately, then we'll go and have them read a rhythm, and they will do one of those things I said not to do, right? They'll be looking, they're just tapping and not saying, or looking at me instead of, or any of those things. But then I have kind of a fun and funny way to reference it, not like, you guys aren't doing. I'm like, oh, what's Miss Duhon doing wrong? What's third grade doing wrong? Oh yeah, third grade isn't saying, and we can kind of go up. When we get to the poison
Echo
rhythm,
every pattern that you hear except for the poison pattern. The poison pattern is...
oh, am I blanked out on me? Sorry, y'all. Okay. Anyway, regardless, when you have the poison pattern, instead of them going crazy and be like, it's poison, I like to just have them silently show me what the poison pattern is by voting. Okay. That way, when you go on to the next rhythm, they can actually hear the next rhythm. That way you can see, and you can even try to fake them out a little bit, like on the, on the wrong one. So that you, like I said, you have a visual, you can see it from everyone, whether they know it or not, and it keeps your class on track. And then if not, then they better be looking, saying, and two-finger tapping after to show what they know. Okay. So like I said, just another way that we are stretching and doing those fun things instead of just put it on play, check our email for 90 seconds. Not that I would ever do that, but I've heard people do, and then you've lost a lot of teachable moments there. So like I said, using some of these resources as part of your lesson, not just a set it and forget it game, actually increases the fun for the kids and then increases the learning for the kids.
Awesome. All righty. Thank you so much. That is
You're
great. So we have 2 questions. Anybody else who has any other questions, please raise your hand or put it in the chat.
Yeah, please do.
So first question, would you be able to go back to my list and just show how you add something from outside Musicplay to your my list?
Oh, that's a wonderful thing, and I really should have done that. Thank you for asking that. Okay, and hopefully I won't fold. If I do, I'm going to have Carrie Lynn save me. All right. So the way that I would do it, so if I'm creating a new list, I'm going to add new. And let's say I'm going to call this one outside of Musicplay. I can type. I just can't type in front of people. There we go. Outside of Musicplay. And then it's going to give you a prompt. Well, hang on. You know what? I did know how to do this, but now I'm having trouble.
No, it's all good. You have to add the list and then you get the prompt.
Oh, add the list and then do the prompt to add it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so add the list. Aha. Okay. And then I'm going to add the procedure. Thank you. So here would be my link. And let's say that I want to go, I know, I'll do a little self-promotion while we add to my list. Okay. You want to add the Facebook group for Happier Music Teachers to your list. So I'll grab the link. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to go back to Musicplay and put the link URL here. So just copy and then Control V. Okay. And then in my teaching notes, I'm going to say, join the Happier Music Teachers Facebook group. And then I add that as a procedure. Now, when it comes up, it's going to look like this. And you really do want to have some type of notes and some clarity because you think you will remember those. If you just willy-nilly add links, which no judgment here, but it'll be better if you have it labeled. Okay. And occasionally when you add it to other lists, you might lose some of those notes and things. So you may need to go in and actually label it again to make sure you know what that link is. But then I should be able to, let's see, when I click there, then it will take me straight to that place. Everybody good? That is a wonderful feature because, like I said, even if you're just sharing an outside video, or like I said, if you are pulling from more than one resource or you have more resources in your curriculum provided by your district, it is nice to house it in one place instead of feeling like we're bouncing from place to place.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you for showing that. Alrighty.
Welcome.
And then we do have one question from Tyler. Have you tried the OR features? I'm not entirely sure, Tyler, if you're still here, if you want to give a little bit more context on your question, feel free to.
Could you repeat it? Was something about ORF?
Trying the OR features. We have many different parts of the site that have little ORF sections. So
Do you think maybe he meant like adding some of them or something like that?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's okay. And I'm not seeing the hand or unmuted or anything, so I guess that's everything. Alrighty, so if there are any other questions, please post them because we're going to shut down in about a minute here.
Oh.
So
well, let me grab it real fast, Carrie Lynn.
Yes,
First off, I didn't thank y'all. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed being here and I appreciate y'all taking the time. And I told y'all this off camera a couple weeks ago at our meeting, but I just want to affirm you and Stacy and Danae, the rest of the team. Y'all have always been working hard and rock stars, but I know it's just been a next level. And on our end as users, it's just been a seamless transition. So we certainly thank you and affirm you.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you want to share some of your book?
Sure do.
Yeah.
I have a book on Amazon, y'all. It is also available on F-Flat Books. And so if you are an ebook person, I hope you will, but I'm going to be fast in case we get cut off. It is Happier Music Teacher, 50 Days to Being a Happier Music Teacher at Home and at School. And we had a little trouble getting it from the ebook to Amazon. That was really an ordeal. It was the craziest thing. But now it is there and I am thrilled. And my screen tells me it has free delivery by Saturday. So that tells me it could be a Mother's Day gift. It could be a late Teacher's Appreciation gift. It could be a gift for yourself as you work through it this summer. Any of those things. I am, like I said, you can tell I have one outfit, right? Which is the outfit on the book cover. I wear it for everything when I present. But it is... I'm super proud of it. I hope it helps people a lot. And now it's out in paperback, which my family does not think it's a real book unless you can hold it in your hands. So I'm sure excited to have the paperback version of it. And I also have a podcast. Maybe some of y'all are podcast listeners. I hope you are. Also Happier Music Teacher. Once again, this chick only has one outfit. It's sad, really. So my podcast is Happier Music Teacher with Beth Duhon, Self-Care for the Music Educator.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll get all those links from you and I'll put them in the workshop site. So
that'd be so appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for your PD certificate, please go to the workshops, musicplayworkshops.ca, and you'll be able to do a little quiz, get a certificate for this, and have a great day, I guess. Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
y'all. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you.